Well, hello everybody. How is the apocalypse treating ye? I hope it's treating ye very well. So I feel like I've been letting you down a bit with the reduction in talking at ye, but yeah, it's been a busy enough couple of weeks. We might not get a video in next weekend, but we will definitely try. Anyway, firstly, news. Uh, can I say a huge thank you to Louis Andre, uh, Russ Proteus, and Mad Hire, who did the commentating on our match. I hope you enjoyed that battle report. It really, Louis took so much time out of his day on two occasions to just chat, work on ideas, and it was a great fun game. And yeah, as the commentator said, don't let your ships outrun your squad cover. Um, I was very happy with the way that list performed. I think I let it down a little bit, but you saw there in 3 attacks from 3 ships that unkillable Agate assault frigate was removed. I just could not get the CR90. I did not leave myself in a good position. I possibly, if I'd kept the flagship going when I turned it initially, I think I turned too much. And I was trying to come all the way around. And I don't think there's very few ships in Armada that can come all the way around. And it was exactly the same with Demo. Particularly when they were trying to come round and catch a CR90. But Louis is a fantastic player. I got beaten very badly, but I still feel, considering the caliber that Louis Andre is, it was a good result. Then let's talk about March Madness or This is Madness on Ion Radio's podcast. Podcast? No, they're a YouTube channel. We know Ion Radio. Anyway, as part of the This is Madness thing, I submitted the Ramadi Roundhouse, and it featured in its first battle just yesterday, maybe 2 days ago, depending on when you're watching this, and it came through with the highest MOV of the tournament, so I'm delighted with that. Um, though I do want to take them to take out like third-party fire and theft for those ISTs and Architans, considering how many obstacles were hit. But yeah, I'm very happy that that fleet is doing quite well. The ISD with H9s in a 3x3 section is just fantastic. With downsize it, hopefully we'll be doing something again soon. And the other thing is I keep meaning to do something for the Italian tournament and I've failed. So we're going to rectify that right now. So we're going to look at the leaderboard. So top 4, the lowest among those has 38 points. Okay, so if they get a 6, let's say they get a 6, and the person above them gets a 6, and the 41 points gets a 5. The least you need to win this is 46 points, to my mind. Because if the lower downs get a 6, that means 1,000 Eyes gets a 5 and is at least at 46 points. So I think Large Package is the lowest ranked player who stands a chance of winning. I miscalculated and thought it might be Russell Banks, my fellow Irish player. But in order for 1,000 Eyes to get less than 5, somebody on 38 has to get more than 6. So that would put them at 45, which Russell could get. So Russell actually might still stand a chance of winning. His MOV would need to get a lot better, but he would need a 10-1 to win that anyway. So it's not impossible. So yeah, from 11th to 1st, those are the people who mathematically have a chance of winning. So let's take a look at those matches. Russell is facing off against Damon Jordan. So What's Damon rocking in the house? So Russell has 2 Starhawks. Is the highest ranked player who does not have at least 4 victories. That is because you can beat this list. You are incredibly unlikely to table it. And he is up against Xanthos 1159. Separatist list, Kraken. Who left this idiot in charge? We love the name. We do love the name. So, both mark 1 Starhawks, both with Magnites, one with Agate and Durlin, and that's unkillable, and Tractor Beams. Got Concord and Amity and no squads. We've got Ezra Bridger, though, who is a monster. Here we've got the Providence class carrier, reserve hangar deck, because we've got something with Swarm. We're separatists after all. Kraken for whatever you want yourself on the dice. Rune Hako for stealing those tokens. ECMs for keeping alive. And Intensify Firepower. Because all those red dice, they love a bit of fixing, they do. Then we've got a Muni with quad battery turrets and 2 hard cells, one with battle refit and one with the foreman's labour title, and it's a transport with part supply. So basically 4 separatists throwing out a good bit of dice. Basically the Dis and the 3 droid TIE fighters are for, tying stuff up. We've got 2 reserve hangar bays to throw those bouncy balls of doom back out. So, it's going to be very hard for the second Starhawk to live up to the firepower of this fleet, particularly when there'll always be that accuracy. And it will just chip away. Laying hands on those hard cells might be tough, so they may be able to skirt around and just chip in damage, while the Munificent and the Providence do the heavy lifting. The Intensify Firepower, classic, you've got multiple squadrons, you can stay going. My heart wants to say Russell can take this. It does depend. Who has got the bid? 397 for the separate. Ooh, 397 for the rebels. This may come down to who gets the bid. It may come down to who gets the bid. Very close. I don't see either one. I don't see Russell being 10 wand. He's going to have trouble tracking down every part of that separatist fleet. Particularly with 2 Starhawks. But if anyone can do it with Starhawks, it's Russell. Okay, so next matchup that we should look at is Mac, aka Large Package, versus Jeff Purifilis, whose name I have just horribly butchered. Both of these players are in contention. So Mac was in my pod and was a very difficult man to beat. And here we have another Agate Starhawk. No one was shocked. We have 2 comms nets, Torrent Far, Commsnet, Bright Hope, Leia for changing your mind, and Repair Crew. We've got a Mark II Starhawk and Unity. Expert Shield Techs, local fire controls because we want another salvo token, and we don't care about the contain, I suppose. Heavy ion emplacements and linked turbo laser turrets. So that Starhawk doesn't just survive, it hits like a truck and it flaks. And then it's Lando, the best rebel rogue ace, full stop, bar none, on cost, on ability, on hit points, on sheer just annoying things he can do. I love him. I take him in every list. Rogue Squadron, when you just want 1 point for a bid, and 6 YT 2400s. So, okay, this is 8 squadrons. This is a devil load of hull. And then they're backed by red flacking linked turbo laser turrets. So if you're going to chew through them, it's going to take you a while. All that while you're getting flacked by that Starhawk. That is nasty. Then we've got Mac, who has the bid here. So important. He's got an Onager, an ISD-2, and a Gladiator, all with 7 fleet destroyers. So only 3 activations, so the same number, no squadrons, but he does have 2 instances of LTT, so good for flacking. But the danger is he can get squadron down. Now, it's a Starhawk versus an Onager, backed by an ISD-2, so people can block for it. It's Tarkin, so it's got a bit of flexibility. And while the Starhawk is tough to kill, 7th Fleet is also extremely hard to kill. If you look at that Onager, it's not only got 7th Fleet, it's got Minister Tua and ECMs and 5 shields at the front. And we've like you've if apart from the rogues, the only anti-ship fire is from the Starhawk. And that's not easily going to get around the side of the Onager. So this one is a bit of a toss-up. Like Jeff is going to have to plot across. Can his squads take out the Onager before they critically damage that Starhawk? I would say it's going to be tough to beat Mac. Because the squads as well, remember, they have to get to the side of whatever they're trying to kill. If he has the ships lined up so they can't get out the sides of the Onagers, they're not going to do too much to the front of the Onager. I would say Mac maybe shades this one by a hair's breadth. Again, like he could potentially 10-1 that. So it is possible for him to really jump up the rankings. He can jump up to 46 and potentially tie if 1,000 Eyes just gets a 5, or if somebody gets a 7 on the other side, then potentially take it home. I'd say Jeff will have a harder time tabling him completely because that Gladiator can always run. It depends how hard and how fast they go. So the next battle up after that is Murnick versus Carabine Ninja. And yes, I'm getting all your guys' names wrong. I apologize profusely. But let's take a look at this list. So we've got 5 ships, Screed Onager. Description tells you what it does. So we got a Gazanti cruiser, a Raider 2, a Raider 2. So skilled first officer, decaps, heavy ion emplacements. Yeah, with Screed, they're getting off those decaps, probably. I presume there's a Vader around here somewhere to murder those skilled first officers. Yes, there is, on the Gazanti cruiser. It's got a TIE fighter and Tel for just staying alive, and a reserve hangar day for keeping that alive. And I'm like, that's a bit crazy, but that's 2 fighters, one of whom's incredibly hard to kill, and one which keeps coming back. So it's just a screen, and then just a lot of small ships who are stripping shields and stripping shields and stripping shields, and then a very cheap test bed with Screed on it. You know, which has an evade for dodging other onagers. So this onager is decked against onagers. I like it. It is a very interesting list. We've got Carabine Ninja, who is an onager with Ramadi, so more dice, and maybe a good bit more control because of the amount he puts in there, but his test bed is a little bit more expensive. Archerton's light cruiser, 2 Gazantis, Glad 2 with Demolisher, and 6 TIE fighters. So Tel and 1 TIE fighter will tie them up long enough so they're not going to do any damage. This one is going to be the battle of the onagers. The one thing is there is no evade on that other onager. So those raiders may not live long, but they will, if they get to fire once, they will strip those shields. At which point you're just looking at a brace with the onager. It'll probably already have lost 2 front shields. So if it becomes down to an onager off, that's in trouble. The demo versus demo matchup, well, demo may well be hunting Glads on one side, but the other Demolisher is a bit more survivable. And the other Glad 2 is not pulling anything. I would say, realistically, here's the bid here, 400 points versus 397. Depends what Caribbean Ninja's objectives are. My heart says Caribbean Ninja, but my head says more Mechanic on this one. Then, next battle up, we have J. Palmani versus Terminator Captain. So, J. Palmani needs to win, is in a slightly better position than Terminator Captain, with a 1 point advantage going into this match. But again, we've got double onagers, Gazantes, and Squadrons. So this is a list to beat up people unprepared for onagers. It's got a high bid of 9 points, so I'm guessing something like Surprise Attack, where you can pick where the enemy squadron is, or enemy flagship is, and just murder it. This is why we don't advise on this channel putting your admiral on your flagship if your flagship is an onager, because Surprise Attack then is not something you can take. With 2 onagers, veteran gunners on both, Ordnance and Chief Vermilion on another, like 2 red beams, 2 engine techs for running away. We've got Darth Vader for re-rolling, intel officers on both, so when all the defense tokens are gone and you just choke them out. A good squadron ball, which is just very anti-squadron, 61 points, and 2 supporting Gazantes. Tis interesting, very good bid. Terminator Captain, an onager, and another onager. Jerry, however. So again, it's a very similar lineup, except there are, if we look at the weapons team slots, both have ordnance experts and both have sensor teams. So you're getting that kind of H9 effect without having to move from the onager class testbed, which, to be honest, to my mind, has the better dice with those black dice in it. The damage ceiling on the onager class testbed is better, even using the orbital bombardment particle cannon. Again, 2 cruisers, and again a similar anti-squadron ball, less of a bid. So, this is interesting. So, the one thing this list can do is it can reliably lock out that brace on whichever onager is targeting, and it can get its onager beams in place easier. However, this list can rely on obstructions. They're both similar concepts, but I'm betting very difficult in executions. It may actually be hard for them to kill each other with engine techs on all 4 onagers. I would say this is not going to be a 10-1. We'll come back and please quote me on how I'm wrong, but I'd see it's going to be very hard for either side to get a 10-1 here. Not looking at the standings, just if top 2, let's take a look. Top 2 are not playing each other. So, yeah, a good win and 6-5s in the rest of the board. Still possible if Jason Hugley takes one of the opposing onagers for 158 points and doesn't lose anything, then yeah, could scratch it, but I'd say it would be a very close and very tricky match. I'd say we're going to be like 1 onager lost to 0. We'll probably finish it. Okay. So then we have Boba Fett Hi, Robert. I think I'm going to be meeting you on the road to Dagobah, sadly, with us sitting, both with our being 10-1 in the first round of that tournament, versus at Nuhut or Mate. And both players are both on 38, in with a chance, so close to the top. So here we have no onager. We have a classic Sloan Ball. Steel, Jendon, Howlrunner, Mauler Mittel, Saber Squadron, and 4 TIE Interceptors. Okay, so the TIE Interceptors are not that common, but we do have that Marek Jendon, which is rough for anyone to face. And we're seeing very light squadron screens here. We've got a very small bid, Admiral Sloan, Damage Control Officer to make use. So all those disposable capacitors, heavy ion emplacements do nothing. Targeting scramblers, grav, shift, reroute. Then you've got a quasar fire, flight controllers, boosted comms, expanded hangar bay. Just the alpha of absolute terror coming down on you. And then just 2 Gazanti cruisers with comms nets. It is a very cool list. It's horrific to play against, I would imagine, and that Interdictor can book it as well with those engine techs. So hard enough to pin down with something like an onager. So it has a good bit of tech against that. And on the other side, we've a Dictor and 2 donkeys. So again, 2 onagers and an Interdictor suppression refit. So I sense the tournament did not have enough MC30s in the whole, and not possibly enough tech against onagers, and people discovering onagers for the first time seems very onager heavy. I'm not a fan of the onager, but 1.5 thought maybe would have dealt them a bit more of a blow, but I could be wrong. But we've got Romedy, so no hiding. So we've got Gravship Reroute, so if they're dust clouds, they can really get in the way. But then we've got Gravship Reroute here. So who gets to do the Gravship Reroute first? Questions on a postcard to Karnak at Star Wars Armada Explained. I probably should know this. I think it is the second player is going to get to go second. But yeah, there's going to be like dust clouds, I feel like, thrown around here. I would say Boba Fett is going to choose second. Just simply because of the ability to deploy and have his objective. As well as that, he can put down a Gazanti, deploy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 deployments before he puts down actual real ships. So more than likely going to go second. And then like the onager with Ozzel on it maybe gets Cataclysm in place for turn 1. But yeah. And that's the other thing. That Quasar does not need to be in the thick of it. I would say Boba Fett goes second and just out deploys, and then the Dictor and the Donkey have real problems. So we'll give that one to Boba Fett. And then we have 1,000 Eyes versus Michel DiGiorno Ragnar 1688, who is rocking an SSD undefeated. He's beaten me. He's beaten Valen. He's beaten Kingslayer. He's beaten people from all countries and all nations. This thing is a terror. An absolute terror. I got 10-1 by it. I am ashamed to say, because I didn't understand how well Georgiorod swings that thing. And basically, Ragnar does. He flew it impeccably, and there was just no safe place. The damage output is horrific, and this is the thing. You'd think with all the onagers and everything running around there that he'd be in trouble, but he just sailed through them. And here we have a Starhawk. You know, 1,000 eyes, CR90, Charabay, 3 A-wings, decent squad ball. But here is the thing. SSD is in trouble if it gets put to 0. Now, the one thing that might have helped is slicer tools here, and we don't see any way for them to mess with his commands. So the SSD can keep a navigate token. The issue is, I suppose, the Starhawk can simply slow Magnite Tractor, let the squads go to work, let the Jaina's Light go to work. If it goes directly after, but it is Unity, it's not Concord. So if it puts the SSD to 0 and it's not out of the front arc, it could be in a lot of bother. Ragnar has the bid, so if he can 10-1, he can take it, and this tournament could be won by a Super Star Destroyer. I recently played 1,000 Eyes, however. He is fucking ferocious. He's a really good player. I've played both of these players. They're both excellent. I would say I would give this to the Super Star Destroyer. And I'm just on sheer murderous ability alone. I think it's already beaten the Starhawk list in the first round. Hold on. Did we Ragnar? So yeah, I'm fairly sure Matthew King has a Starhawk. Yep. Agate Amnesty now doesn't have the Magnites, but he has more ships. So, 1,000 Eyes. 1,000 Eyes is rocking better salvo though. So, and Unity, Expert Shield Techs did not have that. So, Starhawk might be a bit less survivable. How did that match end? What was the score? Did it get the Hawk? It was only a 123 win. So, it wasn't a table wipe. Now, 1,000 Eyes does not have the bid, so it's going to be interesting to see how that match is played. It's going to check, has anyone played their match yet? We have one match played so far. So yeah, I think that match is really going to be the decider here. If Ragnar can pull it out, and he's the only other player who's unbeaten. You know, he just has less of an MOV strength of schedule going in. So it's going to be a clash of titans. Guys, if you want to tell me when that match is on, if it is at a convenient time, I'll try and stream it. But anyway, that is the Italian Battle for Hoth tournament. Now, because we've been depriving you, there were some announcements recently. So, I owe you all some lists. So, let's build one with each new admiral. Okay, so let's start with Tarkin. So, here I'm kind of leaning towards with Tarkin, you need at least one. And the one I want is not the smart one, it's the fleet command one, the intensify firepower. Because that's your flagship. You don't have a defensive retrofit, but so what? We're going to have our trusty friend, the Implacable, try and keep us alive. And obviously, once you have an Implacable, you have a reserve hangar deck. And if you have more stuff, you have a reserve hangar deck, because we're going to have some torrents in here. Torrents are entirely necessary. We'll have some LTTs, thank you very much. Because we have a lot of reds. We want a base of some torrents, at least. Keeping stuff alive. So, there we've 136 points. So then, reason why the torrents are around is they're just going to pin them in place for our consulars. Get in there and do our flacking. One of these should be Radiant 7. One of these should be Safe Return. External racks. And external racks on this one. So the squadrons can hold them in place, and then they can be flacked down. So then we want our Brakeman in Clone Captain Silver. So again, we probably need to look a little bit again, because we want these things to be a bit punchier. So LTTs and Intensify Firepower, Tarkin handing out those tokens. So the problem with gunnery teams, of course, is you need to have whatchamacallit. Concentrate fire. Tarkin can always make sure that'll happen. And then we'll go it. So we could go with ordnance pods. You might want to swap out the ship type here, though. Because we may want a defensive retrofit on the Implacable. 5. So go reinforced blaster doors. Get a bit more dice. LTT. Bit better flak. What points are we being left with? You're 33 points. Gunnery teams on this. Ordnance experts. Steve could just take the external racks for the extra damage. Everybody has racks. So anything being flacked is being flaked. So we could drop a torrent and add somebody like 2. And with 6 points remaining. So can we add to the Drunken Sailor? What can we add to the... So, in my mind, we can add 2 chart officers here. So, chart officers. And the reason why I'm saying that is asteroid tactics is a thing. So you can land on an asteroid. And I believe it's the effect of the objective, not the effect of the obstacle. For asteroid tactics effects. Infested fields. The effects of overlapping that obstacle. You actually might need clarification on that, but still, you can jump on an obstacle, remain obstructed, and get out next turn. Got Plow, and with those torrents, and they're just there to stay alive a little bit, flak back, and then the murderous slack of those two consular armed cruisers come in. It's not a big investment, so it's a total of 60 points, enough to slow stuff down. You just keep your squadrons close to your ships, and every single one of those ships has at least 2 blue flak. And then we've got LTTs, external racks, we've got intensify firepower. So it's never going to be that big haymaker, but all those ships are just going to hit reliably. Okay, so then because we want it kind of scary, Ion Storm gives us a long range crit. Asteroid Tactics is perfectly grand. We love it. And then because we're throwing a little bit of red and a lot of other stuff, and we have enough, actually, no, we're just going infested fields. So this is Tarkin. And we've used none of the new stuff. We've used Clone Captain Silver. Okay, we better do better next. Well, we will. We will. But Tarkin is very nice. Just hand out the tokens. Very cool. Okay, next we have Wolf Violaren. I can repair your squadrons. Did somebody take away a friendly station? Don't mind me. I'm your friendly Wolf Violaren who never hurt anyone, nor never join an evil empire. So anyway, we want a Venator on him, obviously. Want a defensive retrofit? That probably needs to be ECMs. Unless something better comes along, it's hard to see what. Flight controllers, yes please, Barbarino. And LTTs, because we support our troops by flacking the things they're engaged with. Look, it's an Ordnance Experts. It's anti-flak, it's anti-ship, it's anti-everything. You want a pie, you want a whatever. Okay, so we're going to do like full bunch on these bad boys. So 5 torrents will keep stuff alive. Axe will keep stuff alive. Plow will make killing those things horrific. That leaves us only 33 points, so we drop one of those. Now, you might say, so Anakin is the best bomber in the game, probably. Like Oddball, he'd be nice, but I think we're just better off with standard arc, be honest. So now, do we really need axe? How many squads are we looking at? We're looking at 8. So if we kill axe and get another torrent, can get another arc. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But James, that stuff is not going to survive as well. That's grand. We'll just bring them back. We'll zombie them in. And actually, I think, yeah, we just need a bit more ships. So then we've got our acclimator. It gets defensive reserve hangar bay for the zombies. Zombie. Consular with our, oh, look, our reserve hangar bay. Okay, so Ahsoka. Hello, how are we doing? So yeah, sniping, cause why not? What are we looking at? Looking at 8 points. So rather than a charger, maybe we want a Pelta. So that would be Pelta Medical Class. That can get a reserve hang. And then can we get something? When defending, while you suffer damage from attack, you may suffer one of the damage on the shields of the hull zone adjacent to a defending hull zone for each defense token you spend during spend defense token. So super redirect on her. So yeah, let's add her to our acclimator. And the reason why we're doing this is we're going to hand out loads of tokens, James. Yep. Back to the consular. Not that consular, the other consular. How many? 8 points. Reserve hangar deck. And what can we do with the drunken officer? Zone navigation officer. For handing out those squadron E tokens. And that leaves us 1 point. So we can snipe. Can bomb a little. Don't have the Navoda B because I'm an idiot. Yeah, let's fix that. So we should keep Ahsoka. We don't really need the external racks. The turbo laser circuit. Those turbo laser towers are good. We need those. Should potentially be on this. What's our points? We are 400 exactly. This will do. So don't want precision strike because you know we will not have a lot of bombers. So we could do fighter ambush. But I'm less convinced. Let's try fleet and being for getting back tokens. And then infested fields because we can grab the stuff. So yeah. That is Wilfie Larn, who's obviously going on Venator. Okay, who's next? Who is next? Bale, no, you were here already. Luminara. So, readying defense tokens. She's like a poor man's Grievous, really. So, this is the thing. With constars, you won't always be sending all the defense tokens, I feel. So, 2 consulars, 1 with swift return, then 3 peltas, 3 active gunnery, because 6 dice for, or sorry, 4 dice for 49 points in a turn seems good. Okay. So they can't command too many squadrons is the thing. So do we have space for an acclimator? I think we do. Make it an vote to B. I think we can. Can we give it a fighter control team? Okay, so this and reserve hangar deck. Cause, yeah. So we want an ace or 2. It's axe and kickback. Then cheap as chips. 3 torrents. So here the pelters do the damage, the concerts do the flak, and the squadrons do the staying alive. While the Navota B just brings back and keeps them being honest. And the flight controllers make them sing. And here we've got a lot of ships. Here can go easily most wanted. And make it R1 the Radiant who just goes away. For example. Asteroid Tactics and Infested Fields then. We're just making use of our minimums. Squad ball. Excuse me. Last but also definitely not least, Mr. Plo Kloon. So he hands out accuracies to basically squadrons attacking ships that are a distance of 1 to 3 of a friendly ship. Get a free accuracy added. It can't be rerolled or changed, and friendly squadrons without adept gain grit, while they're distance 1 of a friendly squadron with adept, which it is okay. It means your guys get all Jedi hand out grit, basically. So we know we need at least one Jedi who can't play Plo Koon. So Luminara, everybody, because it doesn't mess with, doesn't work really. It's a kit. So we want Lumi. We want some torrents, because why not, people? Why not? Then this is the thing. Do we want bombers in the form of arcs, or do bombers in the form of Y-wings? We want 2 Y-wings and we want 2 arcs. Bit of speed, bit of hard hitting. It's okay. So add another torrent. Add another Y-wing. 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 squads. Now we need to command them. So here we have to be a bit careful. What we can do is spread out some of it. So let's give it parts resupply, missions resupply Pelta. So here you have 2 ships. They can command 4 squadrons. They can supply other ships with tokens. If we make an 87 points remaining. So yeah, here you've got 6 squadrons commanded. And the acclimator will leave us with 21 points, which means this can become a bomber command center. This can come on Vota B. It's 11 points. We wanted reserve hangar deck, reserve hangar deck, reserve hangar deck. We kill parts resupply and make it a comms net, and we get a reserve hangar deck. 2, 3, 4 reserve hangar decks, 4 torrents, Luminara, so they're hard to kill in the first place, and some bombers who those torrents are just taking a beating to keep alive. And we can't command all of them. We can command all of the squadrons bar 1. Decent dice. So here we will go with Prize Attack. We'll go with Peter Ambush. And we will go with Superior Position. So there are 4 lists with some of the new stuff. And coming soon, we'll do Separatists. So I hope the apocalypse treating you well. Have a lovely evening. Bye, y'all.